Hi, welcome to Yoga with Tim. I'm Tim. Today we're going to learn 8 of the best chest and shoulder openers. So whenever I teach people how to open their chest and their shoulders, one of the more important things that I encourage people to keep in mind is that if the core and the back muscles are strong enough to support the chest opening, it will be more powerful. So if we work on like loosey-goosey, just stretching, but we aren't integrating the core into it, then your body won't be able to hold the opening that you create and it will go back to its old patterns. So we're also going to learn core and back strengthening that will help to support the opening you create. It's going to be kind of cool. All right, so we're going to begin with this exercise. This is called bird dog. So you can do it on your back or you can do it on your hands and your knees. But what I want you to feel in this exercise, first, that we can find a neutral spine, and we're going to find it by doing cat-cow. So as you inhale, arch your back, let your belly fall towards the floor, reach your heart forward, tip the sit bones up. And then as you exhale, tuck your butt and round your spine. This is also good because it starts to warm up your spine and get blood to start to move through your discs. As you inhale, exhale to round. One more time. Then come into a neutral spine and hold right there. Then, without your hips twisting, stretch your right leg straight back behind you. So this is going to make sure that you utilize your core. Then slowly start to crawl your left fingers out along the floor. Without your ribs twisting, then see if you can raise the arm up. Now point the nose straight down and pretend like you're being pulled through the crown of the head forward and your tailbone straight back. So you activate your spinal muscles. The paraspinals start to turn on and support the length of the spine. And then see if you can lift that back leg up just 1 inch without anything else changing. Lower your hand and your knee. And change sides. Stretch the other leg back. Crawl the fingers forward. And then start to raise the arm. And without the hips twisting, see if you can engage your abs and lift the back leg up just 1 inch. Slowly lower. And then we can start to turn it into a little quicker exercise once you've gotten the intention of being able to hold your core and do the movement from the work of your core. Okay, good. The next one that we're going to practice, and you can practice that one for up to a minute, is to start to open up your lats. So take your hands the width of your mat. So the lats and the sides of your chest get tight and they start to pull the shoulder forward and down. So this is a great way to start to open up and stretch the lats. So I'm taking the hands the width of the mat, the feet the width of the mat. And then I want to activate the spine by reaching the crown forward and the tail straight back. Then as I inhale, I'm going to open up and turn my chest. And then slowly lower. To change sides, inhale, open up and turn. Slowly lower. Change side. Good. Then come back into the middle. Point the toes straight back, hands forward, shoulder distance, and turn the thumbs up. Then imagine that you're in traction. Your hips are being pulled out of your lower back. The sides of the skull being pulled away from the hips, reach past your fingers. Then bend your elbows out to the side, and we'll hold this one for 30 seconds. Lift the elbows up to shoulder height, and then rotate the upper arms externally so that the wrists come up in line with the shoulders. Stretch away from the midline, and reach the tailbone and the back of the skull away from each other. Then stretch both arms straight back behind you, roll the shoulders open, but keep lengthening. Instead of how high up you can come, see how long you can get without the shoulders sinking to the floor. Then I'll show one more variation of this one, where you can take a strap or a belt across your wrist. If your shoulders are tight, then you'll want to take the strap a little wider than shoulder distance apart, and you just press out into the strap and rotate the shoulder heads away from the floor as you activate the legs and elongate your spine again so that you start to fire your core muscles. The belly draws up off the floor towards your heart and stretch back through your knuckles and your fingers. So this will start to strengthen your back muscles to hold your shoulders back in their natural position. Okay, from there, come up onto your hands and your knees. We'll take a child's in between to transition. Now, a great preliminary stretch for downward facing dog is to practice elongating through the sides of your body and your trunk from this position. With the toes curled under, press down through the four corners of your hands, and then slowly start to stretch yourself back towards your heels without losing the contact of the four corners of the hands or the elongation of the spine. So I don't just let myself sink into it. I keep lengthening the whole time and then come back up. And you can practice slowly moving in and out of that to start to train your arms to be able to elongate as you're pressing down. Once you get good at that one, the next step would be to do downward facing dog with your hands up on blocks. And practicing the same actions. Good. Then the next stretch I want to show you might seem like, what the heck does this have to do with opening my chest and my shoulders? But you're going to find out, because they're the thoracolumbar fascia. So you have big bands of fascia connecting from your thoracic and the rib cage all the way down into your lumbar and into your hips. So if that gets tight, it starts to pull your rib cage kind of like this, and you don't have freedom in the ribs. So we can start to open up the connection from the hip to the armpit. In this lunge, you'll put the foam roller in front of you, bring your hips back over top of your knee and press straight down as you lengthen. And this is the only time really any yoga pose that I would have a student do this, because normally we don't want to tuck the buttocks. But in this exercise, to start to open up the iliopsoas, we're going to do a gentle tuck of the buttock and then pull the belly up. And then whatever knee is down, you're going to take that arm up towards the ceiling. And if you get it right, the buttock tuck, and you can start to feel the deep stretch. And then if you need to go a little deeper into it, you can move your hips forward just an inch or two without losing the stretch. Keep reaching the side ribs and the buttock away from each other. Slowly release. And we'll try the other side. Wow, all the way up into the armpit. It feels like a different stretch than even when I just raise my arms normally. So that's a really great stretch. Okay, slowly release that one. Really great. Of course it isn't. I'm telling you, these are the best ones. Of course it's going to be a great stretch. Actually, that one's not that good, so you can do that one if you want. No, I'm kidding. Okay, so the next one that I'm going to show you, the issue is when we go to open up our chest and our shoulders, a lot of us tend to borrow from the bottom of the rib cage. So we borrow from the mobility of the upper lumbar, because right where your spine changes directions, it's the most flexible and most at risk. So this is a great way to teach the bottom of your rib cage not to hinge. And it also teaches you to be able to exercise your diaphragm more evenly. So whenever, for example, if I were to practice Urdhva Hastasana, which is a great pose to start to open up my chest and my shoulders, if I practice with this strap across my ribs, I can feel if I'm breathing evenly into my rib cage or if I'm biting my back ribs forward to stretch my arms. So let me show you in a standing position. So I stand with my feet hip distance apart. I take this strap across my arms and I press out into it. And then just doing that, I activate the arms, but I see if I can breathe into the strap on my ribs even. And we all have like a side of the rib that tends to bite in, be tighter. And then I'm going to slowly raise the arms up without borrowing from the space in the back ribs. I keep opening up the back ribs. So when we learn to open the chest and the shoulders, we don't want to project the chest forward. Slowly come back down. And you can repeat this 3-4 times, holding 10 seconds or so, and then coming back down. Maybe doing a final hold, a little bit longer. So the tendency as we learn to open up the chest and the shoulders, especially in yoga, is people tend to do this. They become most interested in what they can see in this position of the chest while closing the back body. But we want to train the core to get strong, again, so it can support it all the time. So that's what we're doing in these variations. I'm going to show you just a couple more. Another great one is Gomukhasana. So you can practice this seated in Virasana, or you can also practice it standing if you have bad knees. But I'm going to drape the strap over one shoulder, and then I'll take the opposite arm behind my back from under, take the arm straight up to the ceiling, rotate externally, then bend the elbow and slide the hand behind. So great pose to help to open up the shoulder. And actually, this one isn't so good. Great. I keep saying that they're great. But just notice how when you're stretching here, the tendency is for the head to come forward. Can you keep the head right up on top of the spine? Release that one and change sides. Again, if this is bothering your knees, you don't need to sit like this. You could sit cross-legged. You could just stand. Then slowly release that one. Okay, we'll take off our corset here, the other strap. Hope we can get this thing off. Now, if you don't have straps at home, then you just have to get creative, or hit up the Amazon or something. I don't know about supporting those guys. Then check it out. So with your foam roller, we're going to do a little bit of thoracic mobility now. And this has been super helpful for me in creating mobility in my back ribs, in the thoracic spine. With your hands behind your head, you can just start by rolling up and down in between your shoulder blades. So this is going to help to make these muscles healthier so that they can fire and release better. And then you can sit your butt down and roll onto the side of the lat. And you can roll side to side. And then you can pin the spot that feels tightest and just breathe into it. And then you can try that on the other side too. Now once you feel that it feels like you've helped to release some tension and you feel like you could move the arm, then you can start to stretch the arm overhead, leaning into the tightest spot in the lat, and then slowly rebend. Okay, very last, with the hands behind your head, as you inhale, roll your chest over the roller. And as you exhale, roll back up. Inhale, roll your chest over the roller. Exhale, roll back up. Inhale, roll your chest over the roller. And exhale, roll back up. Then we'll finish. This is the best. We're going to finish with the spine supported with the roller. And I'll leave you to this. The tailbone goes at one end, the head goes at the other, arms go out to the side. Make sure that your rib cage doesn't tip up at all. Keep the ribs aiming straight down, just like we practiced with the belt as you open up your chest and your shoulders. So you can hang out here for a minute or two. Hey, if you like this video, hit the like button. Leave a comment below if you have any questions about any of this stuff. And also subscribe to the channel and hit the notification button so you don't miss anything else. Also, go to timsonessioga.com where you can sign up, become a member of the community, and you won't miss anything that I post that way. All right, see you next time. Have a great day.